Namaskar everybody. I am Dr. P.S. Kaushik, Principal at Sri Digambar Institute of Technology, Dausa, Rajasthan. This is my 22nd lecture. The subject is engineering mechanics and topic is truss analysis. And in this lecture, I will be taking the analysis with the method of section. Now, let us recapture what we learned till now. In the last lectures, we studied about the frame structure called truss. We studied about the determinant truss and non-determinant truss. We studied about the basic assumptions while analyzing the truss. We studied about the roof truss and bridge truss with some real pictures. We further found that a determinant truss can be analyzed by graphical method and by two analytical methods, that is method of joint and method of section. I am taking these topics one by again and again because the reason behind it is that if you are convergent with the basic fundamentals, then it will be easy for you to solve any problem, and to be a good engineer you must know all the basic fundamentals. Otherwise it will make your life difficult when you are entering into the market and the real life situation where your fundamentals are of prime importance and you must know. That's why I am again and again repeating these. In last two lectures I did it, now again I am repeating it. A total number of unknown includes the forces in a number of bars of truss and the total number of external support reactions. Since the truss members are all straight axial force members lying in the same plane, the force system acting on each joint is coplanar and concurrent. Consequently, rotational or moment equilibrium is automatically satisfied at the joints of the pin. Since the line of action of all the forces will pass through the pin, hence there is no matter of any moment about that joint or pin due to these forces. By comparing the total unknown with the total number of available equilibrium equations, we can have m equal to 2j minus 3, that is statically determinate. Otherwise, if this equation is not satisfied, then the truss system is indeterminate. Assumptions again, all the members are pin jointed, the frame is loaded only at the joints, frame is a perfect one, the weight of the members unless stated otherwise is regarded as negligible in comparison with the other external forces or loads acting on the truss. Determination of member force, that is three methods: method of joint, method of section, this we call Ritter method. Then graphical method, we call it Cremona method. From the syllabus point of view, we will be dealing with method of joints and method of section. Method of joint already dealt, now we are dealing with the method of section. The method of joint is the case of coplanar concurrent force system, and the conditions of equilibrium are that summation fx is equal to 0 and summation fy equal to 0. Summation m equal to 0 does not arise since this is the coplanar concurrent force system when we deal with the method of joint. Again, let us discuss the method of joint. All pin joints are labeled. A free body diagram of entire truss is drawn and the reaction at the supports is determined using the conditions of equilibrium. What are these conditions? That is summation fx equal to 0, summation fy equal to 0 and summation m equal to 0 about the moment center, or you choose arbitrarily. Each joint is treated as free body. A certain direction of force is acting on the joint is assumed and the magnitude of force is worked out. by applying the conditions of equilibrium, that is summation fx is equal to 0 and summation m equal to 0. If the worked out force apply conditions, if the worked out magnitude of the particular force system comes out to be negative, the assumption of direction was wrong, hence the direction of force is reversed. In general, we start by assuming all forces tensile. It will be easy to assume until you are sure of the direction that force acting is tensile. Start is made from the joint where not more than two forces members are unknown and at least one force is known. Since this is a equation, the method of joint has two equations, hence maximum two unknown can be found out by it. Finally, it must be noted that the nature of force will be tensile if the force tends to pull the joint. It will be compressive if the member tends to push the joint. A member under tension is called a tie, whereas a member under compression is called a strut. I discussed these in details in last lecture, but again I want to discuss it. A member horizontal supported at ends is called a beam, since it is loaded across its length. It is loaded across its length. Say again, this is the roller support, or this is the hinge support. Say if this member is loaded like this, this is the uniformly distributed load called UDL. This is the UVL, uniformly varying load, or this is the point load. So this way a beam can be loaded, or a truss cannot be, is always loaded by a point load at the points. Again, these are supports, that is hinge and roller support. Similarly, a truss can be marked like this. Say this is a truss, basic triangular truss. This end is say roller supported, this end is a hinge supported, and a member is loaded here. This load P is applied here. Now, if this is the member, these are two joints. A force which is pulling the joint, this force is pulling this joint, yes, and this force, this end will be pulling that. Then this notation inside the member is for tensile force. Tensile force. Similarly, this is the joint. This is pushing the joint. This joint is pushed by force. Again, this joint is pushed by force. Hence, this notation is for compressive load. Any member, this is basically a column, but if this column is at an angle other than 90 degree, then this will be called a strut. Any member having compressive load but not vertical to the ground will be called as strut. Similarly, any member at any angle having a tensile load acting on it. This is the one, internal, and external will be like this. Then this member will be called as tie. A vertical member whose length is less than 3 times its cross sectional dimension, largest cross sectional dimension, it will be called as post. This is basically post whose length is less or equal to the cross sectional dimension, largest cross sectional dimension, then it will be called a post. Now, method of section. The various steps involved are: truss is split into two parts by passing an imaginary line or section. It is to be ensured that the imaginary section does not cut more than 3 unknown members in which the forces are to be determined. That means, since we know they will be getting 3 equations, these are the 3 equations which we are getting, that is summation f x equal to 0, summation f y equal to 0, and summation m equal to 0. If the imaginary line is cutting, the imaginary section is cutting more than 3 unknown members, then it will not be possible to solve the equations for 4 unknowns. So, we have to ensure that the line section does not cut more than 3 unknown members. This you must understand. Again and again I am repeating this. Now, as I explained earlier, the nature of force in the unknown member can be chosen arbitrarily, tensile or compressive. If answer comes positive, then the nature chosen is correct, or otherwise it is wrong. The method of section, that just note, method of section is applied when the frame structure is too large and the forces in few members are to be determined. That I will explain when dealing with the numerical problems, because if say a truss is having 100 or 1000 members, there are very large trusses available, that is bridges and roofs. Around half a kilometer, 1 kilometer long bridge, office, truss members, and if you want to know the force in somewhere in between 2 or 3 members, then if you start with method of joint, you will start from one end and go on repeating. It will take months to calculate that to reach the on that level. But by method of section, you can directly reach on to the members on which forces are to be determined. And another condition is when the method of joint fails to give the results, then the method of section is applied. That we will discuss sometimes in the revision time. Because if I am dealing with this here, you will get confused. So I am not taking that into consideration now. But we will talk when we are revising the syllabus again. We will take this into consideration and we will solve few problems on this. The following example will further elaborate this process method of section. Some important definitions. A pin jointed frame or is a structure made of slender members, pin connected at the end and capable of taking load at joints only. A frame in which all members lie in the single plane is called a plane frame. if all members of a single frame do not lie in the same frame, then it is called a space frame. It is if a pin jointed frame which has got just sufficient number of to resist the load is called a perfect frame. A frame will be called deficient if the number of members in it are less than the required for a perfect frame. That these frames are not capable of retaining their shape when loaded. A frame will be called redundant frame if it has more than required number of members to be a perfect frame. Again, there is the equation m equal to 2j minus 3. If where m is the number of members and j is the number of joints. If a frame structure or truss satisfies this equation, then it will be called a perfect truss, otherwise imperfect. This imperfect truss is again of two types, that is deficient truss and a redundant truss. If members are less than 2j minus 3, then truss is deficient one, and if m is greater than 2j minus 3, then the truss is a redundant one. And for analysis, we are analyzing on the plane frame, that is a structure which lies in the single plane. Now, take this. This was a 6.2 lakh there when we were dealing with the method of joints. Same truss system, that is a simple perfect truss of 3 members. One A end is pin jointed and B end is roller supported and A end is hinge supported. Sorry. Okay. Now you can see that this angle CAB is 60 degree, angle CBA is 30 degree. So automatically this angle will be 90 degree. That is ACB. So this is a right angle triangle truss. So we can calculate that AC is equal to AB cos 60. That comes out to be 2.5 meter. Again, drop a perpendicular from here. Then this angle is 90 degree now. This 60 is 30. Then this, and we call it say D. Then AD will be 1.25. That is 0.5. That is 2.5 cos 60. That is, this will come out to be 1.25. You can make a calculation of your own. Now, just first you find the reactions at RA and RB. This is reaction RA and this reaction here RA. This is RB. Since the external force is vertical, so there will not be any horizontal reaction at hinge joint, that is at support A. There is no way of having any horizontal reaction at roller support, since rollers will not resist any horizontal pull or push. These are considered frictionless, but it can take only vertical load. Again, by you can find out RA comes out to be 22.5 kilonewton and RB comes out to be 7.5 kilonewton. How? Just take moment about A. This line of action is this. So this will be giving a counterclockwise moment clockwise moment, this reaction RB will be giving a counterclockwise moment. Taking moment about A, we can say 1.25 into 30 equal to RB into 5, and then you can find out RB, which comes out to be 7.5, and then just subtract 7.5 from 30 kilonewton, then you will come out, find out the reaction at A, that is 22.5 kilonewton. Now let this section be cut by a imaginary line 1 1. This is like this, which is cut here, same way, and taking moment about B, this point, the moment center is so chosen that at least one or two, or otherwise two unknown member pass through the this moment center. We have chosen the moment center a B, then F2 is passing through this, and we are taking the forces only one side of the plane, that is this plane. We are taking the forces on the left hand side only. So you can say that this force F1, its line of action is this, and this is vertical to it. So you can find out that this BC is AB cos 60. Okay, so you can cos 60 means 0.86 somewhere. So it will be coming out something 4 point something. This length will be something, I don't. You can calculate. So you can say that RA into 5 equal to F1 into BC. BC you can calculate. BC is 5 cos 60. Then you can, R is 22.5. So this is 5. So you can find out, that is F1 equal to 5 into 22.5 divided by BC length. So taking moment of these forces about point B, the same way it comes out to 22.98 RA into AB minus F1 into BC. Taking moment about C, summation MC equal to 0, so RA into AC cos 60 minus F2 into AC sin 60, which comes out to be 12.99. Now again, I want to give you some more detailed explanation about moment. In the lecture 4th or 5th, we were discussing about the moment. That is what I told you, that if there is a lever, this is a moment center and a lever is attached to it, and a force is applied to it, say vertical. If this distance is say x and this force is P, then the turning effect of the force is called moment equal to P into x. This is called moment arm, this one is called moment arm, this is called moment center, and this is the force. After it is giving a counterclockwise moment, and this turning effect is called moment. Now, say same way, this is the lever. If this force is acting at an angle like this, say P force, then, and this is say X, then what we do, we will just pull this line of action backward and draw a vertical on it. This is the vertical. Then this will be its arm. Say R, this will be its arm. Not this one, because the arm will always be the shortest distance on the line of action of the applied force. And so, and the vertical from a point on the line of action will always be the shortest distance. This you must remember. Again and again I am repeating, the shortest distance on the line of action of the force will be a vertical from the point of reference, that is moment center in this case. Okay. Now I think this is problem is clear. Now let us proceed on to the next problem. This is your next problem. Determine the forces in the members marked 1, 2 and 3. These are 1, 2 and 3. Determine the forces in the members. The solution is, the reactions at the support are determined by the usual manner as was done earlier. How? Let us discuss it. This member and this member are of equal length. This is 60. This angle is 60 again. This total angle is 90 degree. Then this member will be sine of this, that is cos of this, cos 60 of this, AC. This is 60, then this DC will be sine of BC, and then BD will be cos 60 of BC. Usually in this way fashion we can find out the distance this and taking moment about this, the reaction will be giving you a counterclockwise moment, and this action of the line of action of these forces will be giving you a clockwise moment. In this way you can find out RA equal to 12 kilonewton and RC equal to 10 kilonewton. Let a section XX be passed in such a way that it cuts the member marks 1, 2 and 3 and divides the truss into two parts. That is, this is cut like this. Then this is the right hand part, this is left hand part of the truss. Then CD equal to BC cos 30, that is 2.5 into 0.866, that is 2.165, and BD is equal to BC sin 60, that is 1.25. Under the equilibrium conditions of right part, figure 6.54, that is taking moment about C, F2 into CD minus 12 into MC equal to 0, which gives you F2 equal to 10.39. Similarly, F3 equal to RC into MC upon DM. This is DM, this is MC equal to RC into CD cos 30 upon CD sin 30, which comes out to be, F3 comes out to be 17.32 kilonewton, that is tensile in nature, because sign convention assumed is correct. Now refer example 6.15. For the truss loaded and supported as shown in figure 6.56, determine the forces in the member CD, DG and GH. Use the method of section. The method, it is to be required to find out the CD, this member, DG, this member, and GH, this member. So let us cut the truss such that it does not cut more than 3 unknowns. First of all, find the support reactions at A and B. By usual method, taking moment about B, we find RA into 9 minus 10 into 6 minus 20 into 3, that is taking moment about B, that is RA is giving you a clockwise moment, and this will be giving you a anti-clockwise moment both. So RA into 9, that is 3 plus 3 plus 3, 9 into, because its line of action is this and its vertical distance from the moment center is 9 meter. Okay. Similarly, its line of action is this, its line of action is this. This is having a moment center 3 meter away from, this 20 kilonewton is having 3, and this is having 6 meter, and this is having 9 meter. So RA comes out to be 13.33 kilonewton, and then was subtracting the vertical total vertical RA from the total vertical forces, that is 20 plus 10 plus 20, 30, that is comes out to 16.67 at point B, RB. Now we have cut the truss by this imaginary line. Let section 1 be passed in such a way that it cuts the member CD, DG and GH and divides the truss into two parts. The left part of the truss is in equilibrium under the action of the following forces. Reaction RA, we are considering the left part of the truss now, that is 13.33 kilonewton, then 10 kilonewton, this one. Forces F1 in member CD, F2 in member DG and F3 in member GH. Under the equilibrium conditions, summation M C equal to 0 करने पर, that is RA into AG equal to minus F3 into GD. Taking moment about the point D here. We are taking moment about D. This is MD. So RA into AG minus F3 into GD, which gives you F3 into RA, F3 equal to RA into AG upon GD, which comes out to be 13.33 kilonewton. Now again summation mg equal to 0, that is taking moment about G. RA into AG equal to F1 into AC. When we are taking moment, the RA into this distance, that is AG, and this F1 we have found out. We have to, that is F1 into this distance, that is dg. Its line of action is this one, and the moment center is to vertical distance is this one. So here F1 equal to RA into AC upon AG upon AC, that is 13.33 into 3 upon 3, that is again comes out to be 13.33. Now taking moment about C, this point, MC equal to 0. 10 into AG, this 10 force is into this distance, minus F2 into C, this F2, this is F2 into this distance CD. This is vertical is downward is taken positively, then it is negative. Then means counterclockwise moment is taken as negative. Yeah. Minus F3 into GD. This is F3. About this point, it will be giving again counterclockwise. That's why this is taken again negative here. Then F2 equal to 10 into 3 minus 13.33 into 3 upon divided by 3, which comes out to be minus 3.33. That is, it means the member F2 is having a compressive force of 3.33 kilonewton. It means sign convention we assumed was wrong. That's why this magnitude has come out to be negative. So we are changing the sign. Thanks for watching this video lecture.